Hi. Now, Julia and I weren't actually at the end of our session, so what we're going to do is we're just quickly going to jump back on and come together and just finish the session. So I've just got to re-plug myself in, and hopefully Julia will be back. So here she is now. Hopefully we'll have the right volume control and everything again, because we've had so much trouble to get through. All right, so Julia, can you hear me? Is it going to work? No. Okay, so I'm just going to jump you off. Hi, Jess. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, and we're going to try. Okay, so Julia, do you want to come back? Just send me through another request and we'll see if the damn volume's going to work again. Oh, hang on. Okay, let's see how we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you hear me? No? No, nothing? Okay. All right, I'm going to jump off and I'm going to invite you. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to see if I can jump on and go live with Julie if this works. If not, okay, all right, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Oh, we're good. Okay.
Okay. All right, so where were we? We're up to P, weren't we, in the model? So we've just got another person who joined.
Hi.
Oh, okay, good. One of your friends. Oh, yeah. That's nice. I've got Jess too. She's just turned up. She's actually another psychotherapist too. So,
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and she works with youth out in Western Sydney. So, hardcore bunch out there. Let me tell you, Western Sydney's hardcore. So she's been doing frontline work for a very long period of time. So, yeah. It's good that she's on here. She'd be very interested in what you have to say, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said it because I just applied for a job for working with youth during crises and stuff like that, and I have an interview on Monday. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also like really excited because I get to help people and like, I don't know, so I'll be working with youth, so that's cool. I don't know, cool little connection.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, I'm sure Jess would be more than happy to answer any questions that you've got, wouldn't you, Jess? Like, she's all about empowering young women and helping young women. She's not much older than you, actually. So,
cool, okay.
Yeah. So if you've got any questions, just ask Jess and we'll, like, answer them here too. So, okay. Yeah. So we're actually up to P for physical on the SEMPI model. So we've gone through S for sleep, E for emotions, M for meet your needs, P for physical, and we're actually up to I for inclusion in community. So now yesterday you flagged this one too. So it's saying, are you feeling part of your community?
Yeah, yesterday I answered no to that. And I think that still kind of stands tonight. Nothing changed overnight, so yeah.
Okay. So if not, would you like to talk to me now and I can just listen to you without judgment? So this is the next thing. If you're sitting out, because we have people who sit on park benches too around here who teach the SEMPI model. So anyone who's lonely can go up to them, and that person's now offering, would you like to talk to me now, and I can just listen to you without judgment. So it's about feeling heard, being part of a community, having a voice. So, so is there anything happening for you with regards to feeling excluded in community? Because sometimes some of the answers I get are, I'm often stuck in the house, nobody even calls me, no one checks up on me, I'm just feeling really isolated, or my husband's left, I'm left without a car, I don't have a license, nobody's actually checked up on me. Or the other beauty, which I really hear a lot of, is my partner's passed away And the funeral was all over the top, and everybody sent me heaps of flowers and paid me lots of attention and made me casseroles. 2 weeks later, nobody is even talking to me, so now I'm left in this massive grief. So when I ask, if there's anything that, is there a story connected to your emotions, usually this is what I hear, all of these different stories.
Yeah.
And it gets people to actually talk about that story. So is there a story that you would like to talk about, or do you want something to change with people? Is there sort of anything you'd like people to hear about your feelings of isolation?
I mean, oftentimes it's because, I don't know, just the borderline itself, the disorder itself, makes me feel very isolated. Even if, I do have a couple friends that I will hang out with once in a while, but like as far as being involved in my community, I don't really feel that. So what I am hoping for, though, is this job to give me a sense of purpose, and to make a difference in other people's lives. And I think that will help me and I'll help others. And I just think hopefully if I get it, it'll be positive, and just that'll get me out there more, and so I'm not sitting inside all day, because borderline, like, it comes with isolation. I think personally, for me anyway, you just inherently feel isolated from everybody because you're different. You feel different. Yeah,
okay. And then there's all these other women that I work with who are all saying the same thing, all in their houses, saying the same thing. And isn't that interesting? It breaks my heart. I wish I could just go and pluck you all out and put you all together.
That'd be lovely.
And we can all have high tea together and be just this awesome, cool group of people who are totally accepting, non-judgmental, and just killing the stigma, and then isolation doesn't exist anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's do that, Julia.
I would love that.
All right, I'll send the SEMPI bus around to get you when we get one.
Yes, please. Or a plane ticket or something. I don't know. Anything. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get the SEMPI groups happening around in all the different countries. So, because we have SEMPI dinner parties too, which sounds weird, but instead of, I want to just invite people over, and instead of gossiping about who's doing what and judging other people and stuff, we go through the SEMPI model. Yeah. So then we can check in exactly how each other's feeling and have a deeper, more real conversation with each other while we're eating curried sausages.
That is so amazing. That's so amazing. I don't know. I hope it comes my way, like your model and all of these new innovative, ways to connect people. I think it's really amazing. So just want to let you know.
Thanks.
That. Yeah.
Thanks. Well, one of the girls that I'm working with over in Ontario, Canada, she's on the board at the big hospital over there, the psychiatric, I think it's a forensic hospital too. So she's going in and she's going to be taking, I've sent her the PDF for the pamphlet, and she's going to be taking this in and putting it in the waiting rooms and talking to the board about getting it in there and all that sort of stuff. So, it's doable.
Is there a way that I could download something or whatever, and like, would you be okay if I shared it and like support groups that I'm in, and like just try to spread it around? Yeah. Because I think it's like super awesome and like really effective. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, all you have to do is just DM me your email address, and I'll send you the PDF. And then you can just get it printed, or get one of the organisations to print it, which is what we do this end. And they've all got printing budgets, more than I have. And because it's a free model, they print it and then put it into their groups and stuff like that. So, yeah, we run the SEMPI support groups.
Right.
So, yeah, and then it's just basically you don't need a worker or a nurse or anyone else. You just have somebody who knows the model, who's the sharer, which you now know the model, so you become the teacher, the sharer of the model, and then you teach the next person. So it's a pay it forward altruistic model. So you
I
do
could
it
potentially like start like a Facebook group. And,
oh God, yeah.
And,
oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
use your model, obviously, and I would credit you obviously for it and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I could like, you know, start a group and like teach people how it works and get this just a community formed. That'd be so amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Let me know how it goes. Send me photos. That'll be so cool. Yeah. And so it's a reciprocal model too. So once I've asked you all the questions, if you had this in front of you, then you could go through it with me. So it's not about a power imbalance. It's about power balance, so that we all get to have deeper level conversations and get to know each other on a much deeper level, empathic level. It teaches empathy too. Yeah. So we call it a reciprocal model because anyone can use it. It's also an intergenerational reciprocal model, so grandparents can use it with their grandchildren, and the grandchildren can then ask the grandparents.
It's like effective for any, you don't even have to have like a mental illness. I feel like it's just like really, and one question can lead to like a whole conversation. Yeah. And there's so many questions on your model. Oh my God, it's fascinating. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's just about cool. It's just giving people space to feel heard and validated and understood, and allowing them to give across their perspective, and then the person who's the listener, because it's not a counseling model at all. Right. At all. So that's why I've written it for the general community to just ask these questions, and then at the very bottom of every entry letter there is, do you need extra talking time? Do you need to see a healthcare professional? So if something big is flagged, then you would go with the person to get support, or sit there and talk more until they're ready. So you're basically having that conversation with them, and not just, are you okay? And they go, no. And you go, oh, that's not the answer I was expecting.
Like it's the end of the conversation there.
It's that time, is it? Yeah, okay. Good luck with that.
Oh, see you next week. Like we talked about yesterday.
Or not.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just avoid you forever until you get happy. Because we can't have people who aren't happy around us.
Smile on your face. Just be positive.
Yeah, don't tell me anything too heavy. I can't hear it, and I don't know what to do with it. But this teaches you how to hear it, and then, you know, go through the steps together. So it just basically, I started writing it because the population I was working with were homeless women with serious mental health challenges, and physical health challenges. Oh, yeah. That's what I did my thesis on for my master's degree. So I measured stigma towards them from the general community, and what it was basically like for them out there in Sydney. So these women are really hardcore primary homeless, which means they do not have anywhere to sleep. So they're the women that I did with my thesis, and when I wasn't collecting data from them, we were working on this. So I was asking them, you know, what questions would you like to be asked? What is really, really important for you? Like, what would allow you to feel heard? So that's where the models developed from. Right. From them. That's really
awesome. That's awesome.
They're really awesome. And physical was a major component of it, because one of the women that I was interviewing, oh my God, I put a post up about her dog the other day, actually, because she's got a therapy dog. She has terrible anxiety. She was a nurse. Her husband died. Because she was so distressed about that, her mental health became really bad. She ended up not coping with the payments on the house or anything like that. She was really severely depressed. Yeah. Nobody was coming in, and everyone was annoyed with her level of how upset she was and the fact she wasn't getting over it, and ended up losing her house, ended up on the streets in Sydney, and then developed a brain tumour. Like, it couldn't have been any worse.
Oh my God.
when I'd met her, and she was one of the women that I was interviewing and doing data collection with, she had had 10 hours of bloody surgery on her brain, and then was basically trying to recover and still be on the street at the same time. So when I met her, she was going into the Exodus Foundation and getting lunch with her dog, and I had to screen her to see if she came under my criteria to be interviewed for my thesis, and she did. So I got to know her really, really well, and I was just absolutely flabbergasted that she was in recovery from something that serious. So that's why I also decided to put in the P for physical health, because sometimes when I'm saying, how's your physical body feeling, it's like these women would be like, one of them actually is in stage 4 breast cancer, I think. But she's living on the street. She's actually living in a car with 2 dogs, and she has stage 4 breast cancer, but she's so distressed about living on the street, she does not want to add to it by going back to the doctors because she knows she's dying. And it's kind of like, shit, I really need to put physical in this model, and then I really need to put inclusion in there for these women too, because they are so excluded from community. And sometimes the women are really looked after by community members, so they'll often let them come in and shower at their properties, and they take them out cups of tea and breakfast and all this stuff. But what my research uncovered was that they actually have to adhere to societal rules. So if they're lying around doing drugs or drinking in groups, society is very stigmatizing towards them. But if they act according to the social norms of society and within those sort of frameworks of behaviour, then society is actually really nice to the women, so, and protect the women because they're so vulnerable. So it's just this huge eye-opener. So that's why I put inclusion in here too, because it's kind of like, oh, so it's just massive. So that's where I developed it. And sleep and safety is the first question too. Sleep and safety is really, really important because they often go hand in hand. That's why we ask, when we say, how's your SEMPI, how was your sleep overall in the last night or week? It's kind of like you never know what you're going to be told. I had one of my guys actually at Redfern in the city tell me that he hadn't had any sleep because some asshole had stabbed him in the foot while he was in the park with a knife, and now he was just trying to get the infection out of his foot, so he's not sleeping. I had another guy who said he'd been jumped. It's just, and the working with the homeless population is amazing. I love working with them, and
it's amazing, but it makes me want to cry just hearing all these things. It's so sad.
Yeah, but the amount of youth that are on the street is really awful, and that's why I never give money to overseas. I always say to them, once we don't have any youth on our street and they're actually being looked after and protected and they have safe housing, right? Yeah. Then I might give some money overseas, but I've got to look after people in my own backyard in the meantime. And people are like, whoa. I'm like, I'm really hardcore about our homeless and our homeless youth. So that's where the model stems from. So the fact that it's going out across America out to the homeless shelters is just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, so, I want to cry right now. I'm just thinking about all that stuff. It's so sad, so sad.
Yeah. But there's people out there that are doing the work, doing the research, helping them and feeding and trying to get them into accommodation and all of that sort of stuff. So there's some amazing people out there, but it's just a group of society who are so vulnerable, and it can happen to anyone. Yeah. 3 pay packets, and a lot of people are on the street. 3 pay packets, or a mental health issue or whatever, We see a lot of men actually who are very high flyers in the corporate sector start to become very overwhelmed with the demands on them. Then they start becoming anxious. Then they start to become depressed. Then they start the drinking, the drug taking, whatever. Then the wife gets over it. And then the next thing we know, she's left. She's got the kids. They've lost the house. The car payments are gone, and then the next thing I'm talking to them, and one of my blokes actually, that's his exact story, and he's living in a cave with a computer that he sends me emails on that has a solar panel that he just puts outside the cave in the sun so it charges his computer. Ingenious. Yeah. And then he would come in and have showers, and we'd feed him and get him ready to try and look for work and stuff like that, and just give him a lot of counselling and things. So
I can take a deep breath after hearing that. Like you help bring him in, like, oh.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Until we know their stories, basically until we know how they're sleeping and what they're thinking and how they're feeling emotionally, all of this stuff is really, really important before our Centrelink, who decide who gets payments from the government and who doesn't, and who puts work requirements on our people. We have to get them that basic standard of living. We need to get them heard. We need to get them sorted out. So I've worked in frontline forever. So, and that's where my passion is. That's why I wrote the model. Well, so it's
props to you. Yeah. You are doing a fantastic
I love
job.
It.
Like, honestly, like, be honest about it all you want, but you, like, that's just amazing. Like, we need more people like you, honestly. Like, really, I mean that. That's really amazing.
Thank you, Julia. Well, I just thought if I write this model, then other people can pick it up and teach it as well, and it's free. Because I thought, how can I put a price on that? I can't.
Right.
So I just didn't.
You're just doing it out of the goodness of
altruism.
Your heart. Exactly.
Yeah, altruism. Yeah. Because then I get the chemical release in my brain, which makes me feel good, which is my reward. Yep. And then the people that I'm working with and not working with across the world can hopefully feel heard. That's basically all it's for. So, yeah. So I'm happy to send anyone the PDF if they want to, and then just print at the other end and have SEMPI groups, SEMPI conversations, take it into support groups, do all of that stuff. And it's easy to learn. So,
Definitely is.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to talk about at all, Julia, before we go?
Oh, you all good?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I
had a phone call come through.
Really great conversation tonight. We talked about a lot of different things, and
it
was awesome. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so for anyone who's going to be watching this second video, this is we did another hour of conversation around borderline personality symptoms and what Julia thought, what she didn't agree with, did agree with, all the different techniques, tips, how to be in a relationship as a young person living with mental health stuff, and about communication. We talked about epigenetics. So there's heaps of stuff in our previous hour, and both of these will be back up on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. So thank you so much, Julia, for coming back on for a second time with me. And we'll definitely keep in touch. Yeah, cool. Wonderful. Well, if you ever want to come on and just talk about whatever's happening in your world with your groups or whatever, like, just let me know, and because we've just got to spread the love and reduce the stigma around mental health, because it's bullshit. And
absolutely.
And I just want to end. I just want to end by saying there's 1 billion people with a physical disability in this world, and 450 million people with an identified mental health challenge, and they're only the ones that we know about. So 1,450 million people is a bloody significant amount of people across this world who are still feeling stigmatized.
I know. I know.
What? So we've just got to talk. We've got to understand each other, understand each other's perspectives, be brave, do our work, understand what's going on for us, get some help, and just become empowered.
Yes.
Because the mental health system is kind of broken, and a lot of us can't afford to go through a mental health system. And the pharmaceutical company last year in America alone profited over $1 billion in antidepressants alone. That's just antidepressants. There's none of the other medications.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, when you hear these figures, it blows your mind.
Yeah.
Are they kidding? So I'm not saying don't go on antidepressants. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying talking to each other and understanding each other goes a long way towards relieving symptoms of isolation and depression and anxiety and stuff before it escalates.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. All right. Well,
thank you so much for having me
wonderful
on.
female warrior. You go, and I'm just going to go and have my day now. So you enjoy your sleep tonight, and I'll see you out there in social media world soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Alyse.
It's all right. All right, sweetie. And DM me your email, and I'll send you the PDF.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.